Hello everybody, DJ Shawnems here, breaking down the Manticore King 10.2 update patch notes. So we have a new god, Martichoras, the Manticore King, and let's go over the kit. So his basic attacks, they apply Venom, dealing 5% basic attack power over 2 seconds, so like a poison. I would kind of think of Yamoja autos, where they heal, but just kind of reverse in your mind. Initial hit applies 4 stacks, hits refresh, and increase damage by 1 stack. Max 8 stacks, so you're rewarded for constantly landing these autos in succession. His passive, Monstrosity, Martichoras gains up to 100 stacks of ferocity for hitting basics abilities and earning kills or assists. So it kind of reminds me, they compared it to Cucullin. I kind of think of like an Apollo passive. Once max, he loses all ferocity and gains an attack speed buff. So he does kind of transform like Cucullin in that sense. That increases in duration by basic attack and gods. He also gains a permanent monstrosity stack of 1% physical lifesteal and 1% physical ability lifesteal, stacking up to 30 for 30% lifesteal. And his attack speed is 15% plus 1% per level. So stacking up to 30, well, it doesn't stack, but goes up to 35%, if that's true, right? Plus 20% per level at level 20. And then it's 6 seconds up to 12 seconds. His 1, Acid Rain, Martichoras fires hundreds of venomous spikes from his wings, creating a circular rain of spikes that deals damage as it rolls forward. So, in my opinion, it's like the Ishtar ability that you throw out and it goes out in like a line staggered. And as the rain moves, it leaves behind a toxic trail that slows and damages all enemies within the trail. So, very good for like jungle corridors or obviously lane clear because you're going to hit the minions and then they're going to stand in it. And its initial damage starts at 80, max 240 plus 70% of your physical power. Decent scaling. Trail damage 6, 10, 14, 18, 22 plus 10% of your physical power every half second. Slow starts at 25, 35% at max rank. Not bad. And the trail lasts 3 seconds with a cooldown of 14 seconds. Not too shabby. Poison Barb. So think of like Chernobog with his crystal. All right, Martichoras shoots a stinger, dealing damage, piercing minions, and stopping on the first enemy god hit. So, like Alaron one, you throw it out there. If somebody body blocks it, it doesn't go through them. A god. The stinger then persists for 3 seconds, so it's stuck in them for 3 seconds, attached to the enemy god, reducing their healing or at a point on the ground. You can also shoot this and have it land on the ground and explode it. That's why I said kind of like a Chernobog crystal. Martichoras can explode it by hitting it with a basic attack or abilities. His abilities will break the crystal as well, including his ultimate. The explosion deals damage, reducing healing, and roots the god who held the stinger, specifically. Projectile damage 45 at level 1, 185 at max rank, 55% of your physical power. God, I can't speak. Explosion damage 30 at level 1, 170 plus 50%. And the root is a nice 1 second at level 1, 1.8 at max rank. 50% healing reduction for 5 seconds. Ow, he might see play in every lane. Like he could be kind of a neat little counter pick. I could see him in solo. I could see him in mid. I could see him in carry. We'll see though. We'll see what the good players do with him. And then the cooldown goes down as you level it, starting at 12 down to 10. Stalk Prey. So they brought in Akali Shroud from League of Legends. If you don't know what that is, it is a placeable stealth grass. It even looks like the League of Legends grass. Martichoras creates a patch of stealth grass in which he and all allied gods may hide. While inside and on exiting the patch, Martichoras gains movement speed. Martichoras basic attacks from stealth gain 10% additional basic attack damage up front and apply 8 stacks, so full stacks of his venom, when you like sneak attack essentially from the grass. Enemies may reveal anyone hiding in the grass or patch, I said both, by entering it or by placing a ward inside it. Your allies can hide in the grass, but the enemy team cannot. Very important. It lasts 3 minutes. That's kind of nutty. You can place up to 3. And then the movement speed starts at 20 and goes up to 40% for 3 seconds. Cooldown starts at 25, goes down to 15 seconds at max rank. I think I would like to see them maybe lower the duration and lower the cooldown, because 25 seconds at level 1 on a non-ult, kind of nutty. But we'll see. And then Death from Above. Yeah, this reminds me of my old MW2 days. of hearing enemy AC 130 above, because holy crap, dude. Martichoras becomes CC immune and untargetable as he soars into the air, so think Freya ult. Raining down 12 bursts of damaging toxins over 3 seconds. And these are fired for you. You don't control when they're fired. Each time an enemy is hit with a burst, their physical protections are reduced. Cool. The damage per burst, 35, going up to 90, plus 20% of your physical power. Protection reduction, 5% per stack, max 8 stacks. That's insane. So that goes up to 40% prot reduction. I kind of want to see him and Nem do something silly to a tank. So yeah, you have to hit 8 of your 12 autos, essentially. Well, not autos, whatever the hell those are when he's up there. And it lasts for 4 seconds, the debuff of the prot shred. Cooldown 90 seconds. So yeah, that was the Manticore King. We'll see how he does. He's interesting, that's for sure. He's kind of funny. Like, I think his mirror match, of all things, I really am into it because he's got anti-heal in his kit and he's got the lifesteal passive, so that's kind of cool. But and then we got skins, got some magic stuff, we got some bug fixes. Let's go to the balance changes. So for the balance changes, we have Hi-Rez basically admitting that they left off the patch notes that this was intended. The Titan has a cleave on his basic attack. Green buff will heal all other allied camps 20 health a second on top of 10 HP 5. Does not heal himself. So I'm kind of interested to see if he helps kill duo lane at the start of the game. Fire Giant. Center of the Fire Giant pit is now impassable terrain that blocks ground placement for wards. So no more placing wards, but you can still target for abilities and projectiles will pass over it. Pyromancer can now spawn earlier, down from 10 minutes down to 7 minutes. Blue buff no longer summons spirits. That's good. I think that was kind of outdated. That kind of needed to go. Green buff now gives MP 5, 10 to be exact, so that is great for supports that love sticking around. And then something everybody has been asking for, the totem was too damn big. That thing was taking massive steroids. They have reduced its size by 15%. Maybe could have done a little more than that, honestly, but we'll see. I like small changes. Props to Hi-Rez. The cost stuff. I'm just getting back into Conquest for the first time in 7 years, I want to say. So not really going to talk about these changes. I'm not going to know. I'm not going to pretend to know. The Stone of Binding nerf seems rough. So they decreased the prot debuff from 5 plus 1 per level down to 0 plus 1 per level. So now, the earlier you are in the game, this nerf is going to feel hard. 20 to 25 at the end of the game doesn't feel too bad. But 6, right, at level 1, which, you know, you're not buying it at level 1, but you catch my drift, or 1 at level 1, that feels a lot worse. Contagion, I don't know why this freaking ability, like this passive, is on this item. It just doesn't feel like it should be. But that's, you know, I'm not going to rant about it. They decreased its damage from 35 to 25. That's good. Each player now can only have 1 Contagion aura at a time. Great change. If a player with a damaging aura hard crowd controls an enemy, the aura is now refreshed. That makes total sense. If it's only going to be allowed to be, you know, 1 stack, essentially, it should be able to be refreshed by the Contagion. Damage aura no longer ticks at CC application time, so instead there's going to be a second delay now. Boo boo boo. Yep, Prophetic Cloak got it. They took it personally that everybody's been building this thing, so they decreased the internal cooldown on this. Whatever. The Evolved, they took 30 prots from. Ouch. That's tough. That kind of brings it a lot more in line with, I feel like, the other, like, your Spirit Robe, your Pridwin, man. Pridwin, I remember, used to have good prots on it, and they killed those prots. But, so yeah, they nerfed that. Sigil of the Old Guard, good, because the mitigation stuff was, like, it was a little crazy, man. So this is good, but they decreased the base mitigation from Sigil of the Old Guard from 5 to 3, decreased the damage mitigation per stack from 4 to 3. So in total, that is 17% down to 12%. And then the healing per stack, 3% down to 1% of your max health. And then, whoa, are we seeing a trend here? Berserker Shield, decreased damage mitigation on the passive, down from 10 down to 5. And then Crusher. This item I feel like is in a very weird place right now, where it knew its purpose before, where it was just like, you buy it early, you place dots, you just be annoying. It had flat pen. It was just a nice early game item before. Now it's like, they're making it cheaper by 100. And it's an item that now, like, it has a defined role as like a scaling item, like a later game item, but they're nerfing its power. Okay. Then they're nerfing its scaling from like on the passive. Okay. So I'm building this late, but you're making it worse late. Okay. Heartseeker, they decrease the bonus damage against low max HP targets down from 3 to 2%, but I believe the other passive stayed at 6%. Orange Shard, they essentially clarified the text on it. Chin size got buffed, so we're nerfing tank stuff, buffing hunter stuff. So hopefully we get to a point where tanks are Swiss cheese. No. It sucks. Hi-Rez always does that. They always swing the pendulum way too far back the other way, so I bet at some point tanks are just going to serve no purpose for a little bit, and they're going to get annihilated, but we'll see. Increased attack speed from 20% to 25%, and then the bonus damage against high max HP targets 5 to 6%. So those are like nice buffs. Like those are, they're not going to break the game on release buffs. Bladed Boomerang got some nice buffs as well. Decreased the cost by 100. Cool. Increased attack speed by 5%. Cool. Decreased the offset of the buff drop. This is maybe my favorite. Like obviously the stat stuff is nice, but for a stinking filthy casual player like me, the buff will drop 50% closer to the player. So no more is it going to like fling way away from you. You have to go way out of your way to pick it up. It's because like Surtur, his passive when the fire shards break off, he can do his 3. It'll suck into him. But this, like, you really have to go out of your way to pick it up. So that's nice. Nice quality of life buff right there. Chronos Pendant. Chronos Pendant is getting buffed because all the other items are so good. Is that how balancing is supposed to work? Or instead of nerfing the stuff that everybody's building, we're just gonna buff Chronos Pendant? Okay. 10 more power on Chronos Pendant. Why not? Sure. Brawlers made it cheaper. Fixed the text and increased the base power of the buff field from 10 to 20. Cool. Again, I feel like giving these anti-heal items passives that are just, I don't know. Then some minor cost stuff on Cloak. Cannoneer's Cuirass, they made it 150 cheaper, but like cheaper is always better, but like, I don't know, man. Maybe with the prophetic nerf, like a couple more people will pick this up instead now, who knows. Dawnbringer buff, they made that 200 cheaper. Absolution buff now has 70 magical prot on it. That's kind of wild. And then increased crowd control reduction from 10% to 20%. So yeah, maybe this will start getting picked up more. I don't know. Phalanx, increased prot by 5, increased health by 50. And then finally, Ao Kuang got nerfed, everybody. Woo! But they hurt his late game by 10% on the scaling on the 3. I don't know if that's enough. We'll see. Hebo nerf. Poor Hebo. This man has 3 ults. You can't leave him alone. No, but yeah, they decreased the base damage 80, 280 at max rank, down by 10 at all ranks. And then they decreased the scaling by 5%. That's whatever. Discordia got a buff. I don't want a Discordia buff. They made her 3 better, which overall makes her better because now she can jump into it quicker. She can reduce the cooldowns of her stuff quicker. She's a little safer. This is a pretty good buff. This will help her out. I hate Discordia, but that's a good buff for her. Golden Apple. This is also a good buff for her. It makes sense. Delayed damage is usually not great in Smite. Gives players that might not have reacted a better chance to react. It gives a chance for a player to shell. It gives a chance for all this type of stuff. So now they're just making it do more damage on the initial hit than it was doing before. 25 at all ranks. And then they increased the scaling so it'll hit harder. That's a good buff for her. Geb got like a pity buff. 10 damage at all ranks on a shockwave, decreased cooldown by a second. Woo! Tsukiyomi with his Dark Moon Shuriken increased the damage by 10 at all ranks. And then I believe this is ult increased physical power scaling per dash hit from 45% to 50%. Sure. Jingwei Gust increased damage per tick by 5 at all ranks. And then as you level it up now, its cooldown goes down. Chernobog buff. They made him less mana hungry. And then they made him more even less mana hungry. Yeah, so down from 70 to 50 for his Into Darkness, and then decrease the cooldown. So it's shorter earlier, and it's the same at the end. 14 seconds at the end still, but now it is 16 seconds at level 1. And yeah, that is all there is to see. I don't know. I'm looking forward to this. PTS is Friday, I believe they said, and it goes live on Tuesday. So if you're interested in trying out the new god or seeing what's up, I don't think the nerfs and buffs are really going to be too bad. But yeah, obviously PTS, everybody's going to want to play the new god. So PTS Friday. That was the 10.2 notes. I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you guys in the next one.